Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story has a couple of updates to it, one that came 2 years after the original. It's from Logical Blueberry 5 from the Am I the Arsehole Here subreddit and says, Am I the arsehole for moving on so quickly after my husband left me? My 47 female husband, 47 male, asked for a separation on our 14th anniversary while we're away in a foreign country to celebrate. While we weren't as close as we used to be, we almost never fought and generally enjoyed each other's company and families. We do not have any children. The night before our anniversary, he brought up he wasn't very happy in the relationship but didn't know why. The next morning, I asked to see his phone and he said no. He said I would find flirty messages with one or more other women on it. He made some female friends through school and work, and he said he felt like there might be someone out there who was a better fit for him. I said I did not want to do a trial separation, as I don't believe you can work on something if you aren't living together. If he wanted to separate, it would be final. He understood but said it was something he had to do. After being away for only 2 days, we rebooked our flights home. Flew home and he packed some belongings and left. 7 days later he asked to come home and we started marriage counseling. He had a lot of trouble admitting he had at least one emotional affair. The counseling was not helpful. He was defensive and not open to it. I suspect something physical happened with the other women, but I don't have any proof. He deleted all his flirty texts, Snapchat, etc. so I could not see them. After 4 weeks of living together again and attending counseling sessions, he decided he no longer wanted to try to save the marriage and he was leaving. He packed up and left a few hours later. He stayed with a friend, found a new apartment and signed a 1-year lease. I was devastated and even had to take time off work to process what has happened and attend individual counseling. After 4 weeks, I started feeling better. I went out for drinks with a group of 4 co-workers that live in my area and found I really enjoyed one of them, 42 male, a lot. I'd only met him over Zoom before this. We started seeing each other a couple of times a week. Quite quickly it grew into a truly amazing, loving relationship. I've stayed in counseling throughout as it wasn't an easy process, the sudden ending of my long-term marriage at the same time as beginning something new. It's been about 7 months now. My ex-husband eventually decided he wanted to try to save the marriage again, but I declined. He says I'm the arsehole for starting a new relationship so quickly, within 6 weeks of him leaving. Our relationship was over as I can no longer trust him and he has hurt me immensely. I do not want a relationship with someone I cannot trust. Am I the arsehole for moving on? I mean, I'm not sure what the husband was expecting here. He admitted to flirting with other women, asked for a separation and came back and then left again when counseling didn't magically fix everything and expected her to sit around waiting in case he changed his mind the second time. I mean, fucking hell, he broke her trust and once that was gone, he didn't get a say in how or when she moved on. I mean, he didn't anyway, but the marriage ended the moment he chose to walk away and see if the grass was greener. He basically took a gamble and he lost. A commenter says to AP, not the arsehole, he left you twice. I guess you were supposed to just sit around wallowing in tears while he went off doing whatever and whoever until he was ready to come back to you. Mitten says, I love this for her. I'm so glad she was able to show him that she wasn't pining away. Frequent says, I love even more that it wasn't OP's intent even. OP was just living their life and found someone who appreciates them. Long Barrel says, living well is the best revenge. Bombshell says, gosh. If only he hadn't cheated, broke up with you on your anniversary, quit therapy, broke up with you again, moved out, got a divorce. Yeah, this is all your fault. Not the arsehole. Go live your best life. Commenter says, anniversary trip in another country. Ruined my day, sure, but vacations are expensive. So the first update came 5 months after that first post and says the biggest update is that my ex-husband, 48 male, and I, 47 female, are finally officially divorced. We split everything equally, and I bought him out of the family home. Thankfully, the divorce process was quick and easy once we waited the mandatory separation period for our state. When signing the divorce papers, he asked if I was sure I wanted to proceed, notably while he was seeing someone else. He wanted to try again if I was willing. I wasn't, and thankfully, he didn't fight or make the divorce process more difficult in any way. My ex has been seeing this woman for quite a while now. I know he knew her before we split, but I do not know if he cheated with her or not. It doesn't matter to me. I wish them the best. My relationship with my new partner, 42 male, has continued to be amazing. It's the best relationship I've ever been in, and I can honestly say I've never been more happy. He's kind, loving, and a great communicator. We moved in together a while back, and a few months later, we became engaged. We plan to elope sometime in the next year. While it may seem crazy, I'm extremely grateful for my ex's cheating and the following heartbreak. Without it, I may not have found the happiness I have today. We have another update in a moment, but a commenter says, him asking if you're sure while he's in a relationship with someone else takes the cake. Between him wobbling one away and the other that, I can summarize a man who doesn't know what the fuck he wants and is always chasing what he doesn't have. Good for you for moving on. Vivid says, so your ex thought he could find someone better. Failed to realize you got the upgraded relationship. Somehow I doubt your ex will be truly happy with his partner if he still wanted to reconnect with you. I wish you and partner all the best. So the next update came 2 years later and says, I'm happy to let everyone know that I recently married my new partner, 43 male. We eloped in a private ceremony near the water at sunset. It was lovely. We enjoyed a relaxing West Coast honeymoon before returning to regular life. Life is wonderful. I have a loving, caring husband who tells and shows me how much he loves me every single day. The past 2.5 years have been the best years of my life. I've never been more happy or at peace. I will forever be grateful to my ex for leaving. I wouldn't have the life or relationship I do without everything that happened. I haven't been in contact with my ex for well over a year. I don't feel the need to. I'm at peace with everything. I do keep in touch with some of my ex-in-laws, though I was very surprised to get sweet messages from all my female ex-in-laws, including ex-grandmother-in-law, wishing us happiness on our recent wedding day. Commenter says, yay, I'm so happy that you got the ending you deserve. Boeing says, I'm often surprised how hard people work to stay in mediocre relationships. This kind of outcome isn't guaranteed, but few things in life are. Other than the mediocre relationship you've been in for years is likely to stay that way. Commenter quotes saying, I was very surprised to get sweet messages from my female ex-in-laws, and says, I reckon the women in your ex-families knows who the arsehole was. One more commenter says, you are not the arsehole, congratulations. I'm guessing this is the guy you met in the original post, or someone new. Opie says, it is the guy, co-worker from the original post, though we are no longer working together. The thing that gets me in this story is Opie just went on and got on with her life, basically. That's all that happened. Her ex wanted this, he got it. Well, Opie just carried on with her life and life happened. Meanwhile, you had the ex who kept treating the marriage like it was something he could just walk away from and then dip back in whenever he wanted. He came back, left again, all this sort of stuff. Started seeing someone else and then still asked if Opie was sure she wanted to divorce the bloody cheeky so-and-so. After all, he was the one who destroyed the trust. And the messages from the ex-in-laws were just like perfect as well. It says a lot about who they thought handled the divorce with grace in the end, and probably who they thought was responsible for it and what they think about him, I think. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Now, a quick trigger warning before we do get into this next story. There is talk of domestic violence within the story, so if you do want to skip it, please feel free to do so. Timestamps are always down in the description and along the timeline below. Thank you. Now, this next story, it comes from Gluet4746 from the What Do I Do subreddit. And it says, my husband is suddenly angry all the time and wants to fire a random woman. How do I talk to him? My husband is very stressed all the time. Ever since we met, he, 45, told me, 43, his career and growing his career is the most important thing for him. He's an engineer and currently responsible for a company of more than 600 people. Even if locally no one is above him, he still has to report results to the headquarters regularly. He is very tough, strict, and even though I do not understand a lot of what they are doing, I feel he pushes people over their limits. He promises the headquarters he will reach every goal, live up to every standard. He overworks himself and his people, micromanages, controls, shouts, and threatens. I try to separate his work persona from his home persona, and we get along well. We jog together, swim together, and various other sports. He never yells at me, never talks down to me. But this changed in the beginning of June. He got frustrated at every little thing at home too. Out of nowhere, he called a woman a subordinate, but now his direct one. A woman who, he would tell me later, works at their marketing department. She is 24. He wants to fire her. He offered her a few salaries just so she leaves. I never saw him invested this much in any employee. He's not the kind of executive who is close with people, who talks to them. He's up there and they are down. He has his close inner group. I asked him why he's so invested, and he said she is not a good performer and he wants her out. I never saw him talking to one of the people at the bottom of the hierarchy. This woman randomly just called him, didn't even text, she just called him, something that is frowned upon in any corporate setting. I also work corporate, and I would never dare to call an executive like that, and if I did, I'd be called out on it. I had parts of their conversation. He was yelling and getting frustrated, and she was calm, sarcastic, and was like, "And what will you do about it?" I know him, and not only him, I am familiarized with the corporate world. A top director never talks one-on-one with a random, irrelevant employee, and she was so casual with him. He started raising his voice at me too. He's not interested in anything anymore. I'm concerned and I want to talk to him about it, but I'm scared of what might come out of it. How do I do it? He's always irritated. Now, there could be a whole bunch of possibilities here, I guess, but the Reddit brain immediately said to me he's having an affair of some sort with this person and it's all collapsing. But I guess there could be other options, that she reported into HR, that she's challenging him professionally, something along those lines. But whatever the explanation is, it definitely doesn't sound like a normal boss-employee relationship. Lone Early says to the OP, you sure it's a random woman? Like you said, you never saw him invested so much in another employee before. Quoting, offered her a few salaries so she would leave, and then says, red flags. Commenter says, no one talks like that to a boss unless the fear and respect have been broken with familiarity, and he now wants to clean her off. There's potentially more to it with this lady. A commenter says, people like this don't change. Seeing his behavior at work should have been a clear indicator, although I'm not hounding you for it, but this will not improve. He's a very shitty person and has a long pattern of behavior here. He's abusing his power and seems to take pleasure in treating others badly. I've had several bosses like your husband. The sooner you can leave, the better. And there was just comment after comment suspecting affair, etc. And OP did reply to them and says, yeah, I mean, when I posted this, I also suspected something like that, but I don't see how it could happen. He is not really popular with employees, not like totally hated or something, but he keeps his distance. After one day, OP comes in with a quick update and says, so this was quick. This post is an update to my yesterday one. I was pushing it and pressuring him. He left for a couple of hours and then came back very calm and told me in a calm voice, like he has given up, that he got her pregnant and she doesn't want to terminate. She doesn't want to resign and he cannot fire her because she is pregnant. And there is further updates from OP in a moment, but there was some back and forth between OP and some commenters. One said, holy shit, this is the most heartbreaking update. I'm sorry OP, you deserved better. OP says, you know what the worst part is? That after he told me about it, he rested his forehead on his forearm and murmured that his career is over. Not his marriage, his career. Commenter just replied saying, I'm so sorry this happened to you. And OP says, and the worst part in all this mess is that I know how much he had suffered because he was an affair baby and no one cared for him. His father had money but didn't even acknowledge his existence. His mother partied and had fun, then got married, had other kids, and she didn't care either. His grandma did her best to raise him, but were living very modestly, and now he's going to have a baby, and he really planned and hoped to make that woman a single mother at 25, knowing she has no real support, no family, and if he succeeded, no income. OP also says, I'm also sorry for the future baby. My husband himself was an affair child. This is why he was so obsessed with being successful. He wanted to show his parents that he can make it without them. His father was married and had 3 children with his wife. He didn't divorce and wife forgave him. His mother also didn't want to raise him because she was very young and wanted to live a little, so she placed him in the care of her mother, his grandma. That woman loved him but was deeply religious and always let it show the way he came into the world was shameful. He lived his life trying to prove the 2 people that couldn't care less he existed that he is worthy. His mother also married later, when she was like 22 and had children with her husband, so I'm really curious if he will be a present father. Commenter replies saying, please just tell HR. They both don't deserve peace. Let them lose their jobs and figure out things together later on. OP says, he said she is from the system, raised by multiple foster families and wants to get out of the misery. I searched her up because, well, why not hurt myself more? She studied business administration at a very good university and probably wants to grow her career fast. OP goes on to say, I will leave the most recent update as a comment to the top comment in order for it to not get lost. So he told me whatever happens regarding his career, marriage, relationship with her, he will take care of his baby. I read some more of their texts. He slapped her because in one of his texts, she told him she has pictures of that too. It happened during their most recent conflict. He never did that to me, ever. and she still wants him to marry her, even though he hit her. OP says she doesn't want a raise. She wants him to give her a good position, like really good, head of department. She just turned 25. I got the age wrong in the post. It will be super fishy if he went down 4 levels or so, even more, to promote an entry-level employee who is 25 too, to a position that would make her his direct report. This is what she's asking in return for her silence. This, or that he divorces me. Commenter replies saying, do you have kids? If no, and since your marriage is over, just tell HR and company about their affair and ruin both of their careers. It doesn't seem he's sorry anyhow. OP said, no, we don't. We got married in our mid-20s and we had no support or help. We didn't want to bring kids in a financially unstable home, so we postponed it. But then he got busy with his career, studies. All our money went into buying a house, and then when we could have afforded them, even 5 of them if we wanted, he said it's a bit too late for him. I guess we just got used to a lifestyle without children. I would have wanted kids, but I just played along. Well, he's going to be a father now. A commenter says to AP, what if you tell HR about their affair? You can ruin both of their careers. Anyway, you're not going to get anything from him because you already work and you get what you get from the divorce. But don't let him live the life. Even his affair partner is a slur. She knew what she did. Ruined both. Is he sorry? Did he try to apologize? Did he tell you he loves you? How long their affair has been going on? What are his plans? OP says, he said he loves me. Didn't apologize. He said it wasn't really his fault and can explain. And I was like, okay, go on, explain. And he didn't know what to say. He just repeated, it wasn't his fault. Stealth Mode replies saying, let's say you were going to forgive him. You can't even do that when the person who did wrong takes 0 responsibility. He slept with another woman, multiple times I'm sure. I highly doubt that he did it once and she got pregnant. He's saying it's not his fault. Still, there's no way for reconciliation when he can't even hold his hands up and take any responsibility. It's disgusting. He wants you to do what you've been doing your whole relationship. Just go along with what he leads. Stop doing that. Please get some strength and some love for yourself and leave. There is a person out there who'd never ever do this to you. They'd never even consider it. Opie says no. He wants to divorce me and marry her. He openly told me that this is what it takes for her to resign. If she resigns and then he marries her, he can get away with it. Very well. Let's see how that goes and how much she will love her own child. The poor baby. Mocha says if you can, get copies of all the proof, because this divorce could get messy. Opie says I got plenty. She was so dirty in the texts. He wasn't, but he liked getting them. She was acting like a sub-kitten. Mocha replies saying, there you go then. Just have to take that to a lawyer and explain that he also tried to be unlawful with how he was getting rid of her. She could do some serious damage if he didn't go through the correct HR proceedings. He might be in the USA, but in the UK it's illegal to do what he did to an employee. I hope he says we are in Europe, but not UK. Anyway, he does want a divorce. He kind of made his choice. He will not get her into a better position, but will divorce me, as she asked him to, just so she shuts up. She will leave the company, and then he will probably marry her. Okay, good luck being married to a 25-year-old. And she obviously played a role. This is not a submissive trad wife. I can bet money on that. She is manipulative. Brief Hippo says, take him for as much as you can. She baby-trapped him. How long was the affair? Opie says he said just 3 months and swore to me they never even met outside the offices. He never took her anywhere and showed me his transactions. Paul says, ew, that's how he behaves at work. He said himself that she's a subordinate and he shouldn't be interacting with. One of them is very predatory, I think, and it explains the lack of contraception. I don't think many people keep that in their desk drawer. Ew, so sorry, OP. Let's hope your future is fabulous and you continue to outshine him in every way. And let's hope he ends up being a stay-at-home father to a child he didn't want with a shrew of a wife. A good outcome for 2 narcissists. Opie says yes. He said all of it happened in his office. He said it trying to make it sound like he didn't care for her because he didn't pay for hotels, but it actually made it worse. Like a walking cliche, on his desk. But I think it was all intentional. If she followed the whole adult scenario with the desk, under the desk and so on, she made him believe he's living out the best fantasy. Someone replied saying, so they did it at work? Opie says yes. He said all of it happened in his office. Commenter replied to that saying, do you really believe they just fucked all over the office? And Opie says maybe, maybe not. Who cares? Details. They did it somewhere. One more commenter says to OP, if she reports directly to your scoundrel of a husband and a DNA test proves that child is his, she could have a very lucrative situation on her hands. I'll be working on retaining a top divorce attorney ASAP. or take him to the cleaners and make no concessions, or definitely not agree to anything that helps him, like an NDA. Get everything you can right now, secure your home, your present, and your future quickly. Once the story gets out, his tenure with his current company is probably over. If she pursues a lawsuit, he's done. No one will risk hiring him for a long time. Opie says she doesn't report to him. In the corporate hierarchy, she is nobody. Entry-level job with no real possibility of climbing the ladder. Honestly, I'm curious how she even got to be in the same room with him. I've been working corporate my whole life. Different company, of course, but I never even talked to the managers that are on the same level as my husband is. There are so many levels between those who are so high and the rest of us. Opie gives another little update and says, think I'll contact the police actually. She found me on social media and messaged me to move out of the house because she will move in soon. I wanted to block her, but I think I would rather do this. Go to the police. I'm so angry and hurt. He tried to stop me, and he said he will deal with her, but no. Commenter says, contact the police, contact HR, contact lawyers, contact his colleagues, and take half the house. What did you reply? Hope says nothing in the end. He said he will deal with her later and make sure she will never bother me again. Commenter says, I feel so sorry for that baby, because it is not a loved, wanted child, it's a human chess piece. In a few years' time, she will doubtless divorce him. Let's face it, he's easy to divorce, he sounds like a bully, and set herself up with a 10+ years of child support payments, while she's still in her 30s and can take her pick of men who she actually likes and had enough time to settle into a career. What an absolute weapon of a man. Opie says he was already violent with her, slapped and pulled her hair. Opie then came in with what they titled as their final update and says, so I wanted to share one last update. I moved out. We have another property and I simply couldn't stand them around me. I decided not to report to HR. That future baby is already having more than enough issues and 2 jobless parents sounds like a nightmare. Probably this will happen anyway, but I will not be the cause of it. As for him, he's already getting his karma. I told him I will not report him, so he needs to make sure she will not either. She wants him to marry her, and he said he will, and told me, it seems I am still the person he cries to and complains to, that she also wants him to pay for her mother's medical bills. She was raised in the system, but it seems she does have a family after all. They are just poor. She's getting her karma too. He's already violent with her. On the back of that, a commenter says, report the violence. Your soon-to-be ex will end up killing her. Active Waste has agreed, and honestly OP is enabling this by letting him still trauma dump on her. Block him. She's keeping his secrets while he beats another woman. It's sick. OP responds saying, no, I will not do that. This woman was mocking me in text for being flat-chested and a prude and other things. I feel I did enough by thinking of the baby and not reporting him to HR to lose his job. That baby will need a father with money. She can report him if she wants. It looks like she has full control over the whole thing. OP replies saying, yeah, he was an affair baby too. Father didn't care for him because wife forgave him. He was around my husband's age and his mother was 20 or something. She also didn't care and his grandma raised him with very little money and he suffered a lot of shame and wanted to prove to everyone he's worthy. A commenter says, stop listening to his complaints and cries, stop being his sounding board, let him cry to someone else. Go to therapy, get some hobbies, keep conversations with him short and blunt, travel, live your life. Opie says, I don't say that I'm listening to him regularly, but before I moved I wanted to know why he did it. Because it crossed my mind, I didn't really ask him. And it hurt me so much that he said she did things he liked, and I didn't do them. And he never asked me to because, and didn't continue. I don't know what was he talking about, but I can guess. And now he's at her mercy and will be paying for her and her mother's bills. I'm really worried for the baby. I have my own life story and it's a bit triggering, even though it wasn't me in this position, but he said he will marry her and take care of the baby. I told him it's not that baby, it's your baby. Now, I can only hope he will be a present father, as he suffered his whole life because he himself was an affair child. But if a miracle happens and he'd be able to keep his job, even if HR finds out, maybe he will leave her, and I hope not the child. So apparently he was choking and spitting in her face. These were things I didn't do and he didn't ask me to. However, someone said he must have been violent with me. No, he was never violent with me, not once. I wonder though how he will communicate with his future mother-in-law and that weird family. He always looked down on people. As I said, I never got close to those beneath him on the corporate food chain, so it'll be a big change for him. Hopefully, he will at least be a good father. And for those pushing me to report him, no, I will not, and this is my final decision. Please respect that. I don't need to ruin his life, he did it for himself the rest of his days if he marries her. He will maybe keep his job, maybe climb even higher, but will be financially supporting his wife, her family and their baby. He'll probably be even worse at work and will have no one to vent to. Family dinners will be interesting. Maybe White Rabbit says you already know that he's abusing her and she's only with him for his money. She's more likely to leave him if he loses his job and find someone who doesn't hit her. It'll only get worse after the baby is born, and if he's hitting her now, he may end up even killing her and / or the baby. And don't say he wouldn't do that because the statistics of DV say otherwise. And you yourself were surprised that he was violent towards her. If you actually want to ensure that baby grows up happy and healthy, you report him to HR and the authorities. Otherwise, that child is either going to wind up with a dead mother and / or all-around broken home life due to an emotionally absent and abusive father and a mother they see getting slapped around all the time. Opie responds saying, I do not owe her anything just because she's a woman. She body shamed me for not having big breasts as she has for being a prude, a loser and much more. And anyway, I didn't witness anything. So I just go to the police and say, husband showed me some text between him and his mistress in which she told him how she has evidence of him slapping her. Please investigate. It doesn't work like that, at least not here in Eastern Europe. Commodore says 1/3 of spouses murdered are pregnant women. Report him to keep her safe for fuck's sake. Opie says I haven't seen any of it, just a text in which she was sending laughing emojis that she has photos of his fingerprints on her cheek after he hit her and would mock him for reporting him. Commodore says, so he goes unpunished while she got fired. Opie says she will not get fired, she will resign. This is basically their deal. She resigns, keep quiet, and he marries her. The Horror Queen says, pardon? He was violent with her. I know you've been slighted and this single Reddit post is all the information I have on the situation, but if he's being violent with another woman, you have every right to report him. Another human being's safety is at stake and he wants to marry her. Opie says, I don't care about her. Sorry. All I can and I'm willing to do is not report him to HR so he doesn't lose his job and that baby have a father without an income. I do not owe anything to the woman who just mocked me in text and body shamed me. And one more commenter who says, I'm so sorry this happened to you, but I'm so excited for how much he's going to hate his life and regret this for the rest of his existence. Opie replies saying, I just hope he'll be a father for that baby. And that was OP's last post on the matter. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much. And hopefully I'm going to see you in the next one. Take care and much love.